Hello, goddesses. Hello. And welcome to this week's holistic guidance. I'm so happy to be here with you this morning. It is a beautiful day, and it might not be morning wherever you're watching from. So if you're jumping on live, please say hello so I can hold space for you. And if you're catching the replay, same thing. So holistic guidances, I decided to do them live in the group just because it brings in so much more energy to the exchange that we may have here. And if ever you like these things, on my YouTube channel, I have done this. This is like my third year for offering these. And last year, they were about women's wealth. And the year before, they were different themed monthly, and you can catch them all there, and they are free and they are available to you just so you can better align to what you want and to what it means to be a woman and how to support your body and your entire being in this lifetime. So hello, Goddess Diane. It's so nice to have you with me here. So ladies, if you are jumping on live, please say hello. It is always nice to see you and exchange with you during this holistic guidance. And we do these weekly. So we sit together for 15-20 minutes on a topic that you have told me was important to you and you wanted to bring more support to that area. So should you want to also share what you would like to learn or lean into in announcement in our group at the top, right? You have about and discussion, I think, and then you have announcement in there. There's a survey that you can absolutely go fill out, and I always circle back to it to look if anyone else has added to it and what you would like to learn on. So this week, I wanted to continue growing on our food, and I know some of you last week decided to do it with us to keep a food journal. And of course, when we work one-on-one together, we're going to do this and we're going to dive much more deeply in it, because if you're eating things that are giving you symptoms and you're not quite aware that these symptoms could actually be the cause of something else, right? So when something comes up physically or emotionally in our life, we think of that as a symptom, but it can also be a cause. So my practice is really based on traditional Chinese medicine and the 5 elements. And within those 5 elements, there's like arrows that allow us to know where the symptoms are stemming from, so the cause. And we also use plants and herbs and natural products and of course our food to help better align health within our body, but also to support our mind and our hormones, all depending where we are at that moment. So welcome, Cheryl. It is so nice to have you. And Cheryl says, first time here, thought I would pop in and say hello. Well, it is definitely wonderful to have you here. And for those of you who are new to me, and I know our group has been growing, so I'm holding space for your growth and alignment and health for all of you. And if you're new to me, my name is Isabelle, and I welcome you in this group. And I am a certified naturopath and a holistic life coach and a master practitioner of NLP and timeline therapy. And I've been working out of my clinic for many, many, many years, and I've gotten really to know what the physical woman and emotional woman needs at this time in her life. So we're looking more deeply into the midlife years, so around perimenopause, menopause, past menopause, and everything that changes in this chapter of our lives, right? And there is a lot of information out there about the younger years, but about these years emotionally and what happens physically to our body, there's not that much information out there. And what also happens to our spiritual connection. So not always, but sometimes as we navigate this chapter of our lives, we really feel a deeper calling. And weirdly enough, it also ties into the food that we eat. So if you're not aware, I think 2 years back, I wrote a little book on fasting. It's called Fasting Basics. And I'm in love with fasting because it is so beneficial for the body. Now, this being said, I don't agree with just water fasting. I don't agree with that because the body needs support. We always need to support the body. So it's an altered fast, but it is not a fast. You don't eat during a fast, right? Some people say, I fast. What you do is during the night, that's fasting. There's intermittent fasting, right? Where you're going to eat only between specific hours. And when you don't eat between meals, that's also fasting. And of course, it depends what you're putting into your mouth, if you're drinking something, if you're chewing gum, if you're eating candy. So all of that is really important. And Cheryl says, sounds great. I'm in my 60s. Yes. Well, Cheryl, you're at the right place because some women go through menopause really early. Some women go through menopause really late. One of my very dear friends is 57 and she hasn't entered menopause yet. Mind you, she is really physically active. There are changes in her body, right? So she's definitely in perimenopause, but it hasn't shown up for her yet. And what's important to know is regardless where we're at in our cycle, it's okay. And what we want is to take in the information and just let it wash over us and to take in what's happening for us and how it applies to our specific lifestyle. So Cheryl says, I have always been able to maintain a healthy weight. Right, exactly. Now I find I'm gaining weight. I am a huge believer in drinking. Oh no, let me see if I can. There we go. I couldn't access the rest of your comment. And drinking water and fresh lemon in that. Yes. So Cheryl, I love that. You bring up such a great point. And water, definitely important. And whenever I do any kind of challenge, I seem to circle back always to that, how to cleanse the body with water and the importance of it. And people dismiss it often, but it is not to be dismissed because without water, you'll get dehydrated. And when you get dehydrated, symptoms like headaches and impatience and difficulty sleeping will happen. And some people will even have weight gain because the body will want to maintain water, right? It'll want to keep the water because it's missing it so much. So you may see temporary weight gain. Whereas when you're drinking a lot, and a lot, there's specific quantities that we want to drink. We don't want to over water down our symptoms because our system, because we don't want to flush out our minerals and our vitamins that we have in our body. So that too is very important. And I love the fact, Cheryl, that you brought up lemon. So lemon out here, right? Very acidic. But as soon as it passes here, it helps the body to become alkaline and it cleanses the body. So it's so important to have good quality lemon juice. So not those things you buy in a bottle if you can, the fresh squeezed one. And if you can, organic, so there's less stuff on it, but it still requires that you wash it. And if you can, only the lemon juice, not the pulp with it. That brings other things in. The white part inside, like when you peel it, right? You have the yellow, and then you have the white, and then you have the juicy yummy. So the white part is full of bioflavonoids, so good for you. So you can absolutely keep that, or when you're squeezing the lemon juice, you can let a little bit of that fall in. And it is full of vitamin C. The only thing that you need to be mindful of is when you're drinking it, right? So I don't have any lemon in my water today, but if I did, I would either drink it with like a gulp, or even better, while I'm drinking my lemon water, I can use a straw and put the straw in back of my teeth. Remember, when it's outside the body, it's acidic. So if you're drinking a lot of lemon water and you're passing it, because sometimes we'll sip it like that, and it touches the enamel of your teeth, it's acidic. And you'll notice after time, it may damage your teeth, all right? So we want to be mindful of how we do that. So Cheryl says, good to hear, buy fresh lemons and squeeze them. Yes, exactly. And if you want to bring a little bit of comfort into that, you can absolutely heat up your water just a little bit. So water is best taken in when it's room temperature, so you don't shock your stomach. So when it's cold, cold, just like if I take a glass of freezing water and I throw it at you, you're going to be like, that's so cold. Your stomach, your tummy, right? The stomach feels the same way. Doesn't like to be shocked with freezing water. Same thing when it's too hot. And we do not want to take water out of the microwave, right? Because microwaves actually make everything turn in the opposite direction that it is supposed to turn, and will continue to cook as you take it in. We don't want that. So you can leave it out. I leave mine out. Or, and I live in the northern hemisphere, so sometimes it gets pretty cold in the winter. So I like to heat it, and I just put it on the stove and I wait. When it just seems to start to simmer, I can even put my finger in it, and then I drink that, and I still am able to use a straw without damaging my teeth. So Cheryl says, good point. I love that. And thank you for bringing that up. So I just really want to talk as well about our food. So we're just going to touch in with that. So last week, for those of you that weren't there, we decided to keep a food journal all week. And I would love to know what came up. So if you want to do this week, I'm doing it again this week because it revealed so many things. And I'm going to want you to bring a different focus this week. So last week, what we did, we wrote the date, we wrote the times that we ate, what we ate, like in detail, not just say a salad. That's not detailed enough, unless you just ate lettuce. And if it was just lettuce, you can put lettuce, right? But we want to know what you're eating. And we want to know the times you're eating it. And we want to know how that makes you feel. So how you feel before you eat, how you feel when you're eating, and how you feel after you've eaten, right? Some food you're going to eat, and after you ate, you're going to be like, oh, that was so nice, right? And it doesn't have to be sweets or anything like that. It can actually be, I feel like that when I have this, and it's going to sound funny, but I actually feel exactly like that when I have a yellow pepper, and those really good tasting ones, and I cut it in half, and I put these sprouts, alfalfa sprouts particularly, and I put them and I shove them in there, and I make my own topping. I'm not sure if it's called vinaigrette in English, but I'll call it vinaigrette for now. And I top it off with that, and I will add a few olives in there, and just a little parentheses. If you like olives but you don't like how sometimes it tastes so much like vinegar, even if they're just in water. You can rinse them out. A lot of people go, oh yeah, I can rinse them out. So just rinse them out under the water. And I love to eat that. And every time I eat that, I'm like, that is so satisfying. I really, really, really enjoy eating that. So I would put that in my journal. On the contrary, if you're eating something and after you feel sluggish or even kind of sad, and pay attention to those emotions, I want you to take note of that. So Cheryl says we'll do a food journal this week, and pay attention to that. You also want to maybe add an extra note this week if something is giving you energy. So after you eat it, you're like jittery, or if you just have happy energy and feel like moving about, or even you feel like a bowel movement, right? Ideally, to keep the body healthy, even in the midlife years, in with the new, out with the old. So important. I know some people don't like to talk about it, but when we're talking about clean health and a vibrant body, you definitely need to release the old, not just the emotions, but also the waste in the body. It's so important to let it go regularly. And when I say regularly, I definitely mean a few times a day, at least once a day. But of course, this is easier looked at when we're doing a one-on-one and going through all of this, because the food might not be the cause. It could just be a symptom to something else, right? So anyways, this week, we're keeping a food journal again. If you're on, let me know if you're going to do that. I know Cheryl is. I know I'm going to. I know Diane is going to as well. So if any other goddesses want to do that, I would love for you to jot it down so we can keep each other accountable and just remember when we don't feel like writing it. Oh yeah, this person is doing it also, so I'm going to do it. And what I want you to look for this week, Cheryl, you're going to look at the water when you're drinking it, okay? And everyone, you can also do the water. We're also going to look at what we eat and when we eat that makes us happy. Not if it makes us happy and then sleepy, just happy. So you're going to take, I have a pink one, but you can use a red one. And every time you eat something, you got to wait after that made you happy, even if it was not a healthy choice. I want you to circle it, right? Now, some people say, I eat this, it's not healthy, and it makes me so happy. But there's another reason behind it. For example, when people eat chocolate or potatoes, they're lacking in potassium, right? So that is a great indicator that something is lacking in your diet. So it's just like to get us familiar with what we're eating and what we're not eating. So Cheryl says, sounds great. I love olives. Oh, and peppers, especially the red and the yellow ones. Yes. And I bounce back between the red and the yellow. Sometimes the yellow there's just so much in it. And Cheryl, it also tells us in the color what we really need, what our bodies are craving. So if you're attracted to a specific color, then you're going to want to dive into other wholesome foods with the same color, and you'll see you'll feel a lot better. And write it down, circle it, right? Pink or red for love, and you'll be able to come back to that. Okay, so Diane says, yes, I will with more details. Exactly, because sometimes we're kind of going fast. And if you don't like to write, you can dictate on your phone, or you can write it on your computer. All of that is so useful for you, and that's what we want. So Cheryl says, okay, does it make us happy? Yes, exactly. And Cheryl says, sweet potatoes, yes. So potatoes, yes, very, very good. Did you know, Cheryl, that you can actually eat sweet potatoes raw? So raw vegan. Um, mm, you can actually cut it, right, in little bitsy pieces, or just use a spiralizer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. A spiralizer, and it is really, really good. And you can dehydrate them as well. So if you cut them and you soak them a little bit in water, it'll take the little bit of starch out, and then you can dehydrate them and have chips. Organic, vegan chips. Lovely. All right. So Cheryl says, no, we'll have to try that. Yeah, you definitely have to try that. It is so good. All right, lovelies. So this week we are doing the journal again, but the emphasis will be on what makes us happy, right? And it doesn't need to be complicated. I want you to become more and more aware of small details like that, because that is how we move towards a healthy lifestyle. Not by shoving a whole bunch of stuff in our daily life, but simply taking one little step at a time. And Cheryl says, I will make organic chips. Yes. Hello, Janine. Hello. It's nice to see you. Lovely. All right, goddesses. So that is what we're going to do. And let's touch base again on that next week during our holistic guidance. And just so you know, Janine, you're so sweet. She says you look gorgeous. You're such a sweetheart. I'm actually a little tired because I've been doing long hours in a course. But before I came in, I did some grounding. I went outside and did some grounding and did some chanting, and that is so powerful. And we can save that for another holistic guidance. Yes. So back to the holistic guidance. Before I do the holistic guidance during the week when I'm planning it out, I open up my Akashic records and I connect to my higher being, and I ask my spirit team what you all need at this specific time. And that is what I bring in the holistic guidance. I take what you have put in that questionnaire in announcements. If you scroll down, you'll see the questionnaire. I take some of the stuff there and I listen to my spirit team and I bring it together for what you need. So please feel free to always reach out to me and let me know what it is that you need so I can support you on that. Cheryl says, great to meet you and hear some wonderful insight. I'm so happy that you got some great insight. And if ever any of you want to go a little deeper, just reach out to me. You can book a free call with me. And I am still so celebrating my new website. I just am so in love with it because it really resonates my mission and my vision and how I truly want to bring more love and joy and health to all of you women. And feel free to go in it and just sit with it, because I have loaded it full of energy and kindness and love, and I want it to be a little piece of home. When you just sit with the site, I know it sounds weird, but there is energy in our work. And in my site, I have put a whole bunch of energy in it to support you and love you. And it is there for you. All right, goddesses. So I thank you for spending time with me. I am sending you lots of love and many blessings. And Cheryl says, we'll check out your new website. Thank you, and thank you as well. And I will see you very soon. Bye for now.